Dear lover, I'd like to say fuck you, 'cause I don't know how or why I would be writing and addressing you this letter. How, or rather why I still yearn for you, long for you. In these long winter nights, with those adorable lines, so many memories are scattered on the floor as I walk by myself in my mind. I have vowed not to write poetry or texts or anything really until I found true love, but now you have me wondering whether I found it and missed it, whether I came as close as Icarus to basking in someone's heat, someone unreachable who always looked at me from above. Someone for whom my fingers can no longer make lines that rhyme, for whom my mind conjures thoughts as seducing as some forbidden crime. Someone who made me feel like I've grown and regressed, fell behind in progress, recognized my self-worth and bargained for dignity. I loved you deeply enough to build up unrequited resentment and enmity. How come? How come did I beg you to stay? Did I beseech you for approval? How could my stone heart crumble under the weight of paper feelings? How could my dissociated mind melt under the heat of enchanted sayings? How could my weary legs walk against the breeze? How could my mind arms beg for another warm hug? How come have I lost sense of who I am and who you were? How did you lead me down this road of self-questioning and guilt? Although you have indeed made my heart flutter with words and gestures that painted rubies on my cheeks, caresses that mimicked my heartbeat as they reached for my skin, and cuddles that appeased the hunger of my desire for physical touch. You have indeed morphed my lips into cheeky smiles and filled the blank canvas in my eyes with pictures of your Starbucks, drew my attention to the stars to move closer such that our pinkies would touch. But most of all, most shockingly, you had me question whether this was it. Was this how connection felt like? 21 years of life, was I ever only looking for someone so similar? The familiarity would make them feel like home. Was I looking for the same trauma, the same longings and fears in someone else? Was this the only way to have this rigid heart of mine feel some sort of feeling? Was I ever only looking for a mirror of someone prettier, funnier, better with words? Someone as caring, as lovely, as protective of me as I am with my inner child, as flirty, as sincere, and as hesitant as I am in the scenarios I make up in bed, as sad and broken and insecure as I am behind the scenes. Will I ever only find rejoice in shattered mirrors that let the blood-soaked fearful tears seep in? Mirrors of Erised that could almost yell until I would wake up and realize that maybe love isn't for me after all. Something you used to say a lot. Yes, you have indeed made me feel a hint of something and left me wondering whether I would have the unfortune of going through this again. How come am I blackening the pages of my life with a feeling so strange, a sensation so unfamiliar, a heartache so sincere, and a voice that tries to convince me otherwise? Is this really heartbreak, or will the voice convince me otherwise? Have I longed for, reached for, and almost touched the sincere feeling of love, or will the voice convince me otherwise? Did I miss my last chance? Will this ever happen again? Will I find sincere emotions and sincere relationships with a sincere heart and a mind that doesn't long for the forbidden? Will I ever move on from what could have been? Or will the voice convince me otherwise? Will I ever come across what I'd have wanted it to have been? Or maybe you will reach out again. Maybe you'll come crawling, ready to beg for something I'd offer without hearing any of your demands. Or maybe you were just there to teach me what this feeling was, the feeling the voice aims to convince me is otherwise. Maybe you were just a lesson and I was just a teardrop, or rather a raindrop in the ocean that is your life. Maybe you'll come again and maybe you'll find me with someone else, even though I had indeed loved you, as I still do. Or maybe by then will the voice have convinced me otherwise. But until then, the voice will echo through the starry sky as I scream at the top of my lungs. Fuck you. Please come back so that I could send you off properly.